Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Stud and Dud presented by the Dallas School of Music. Thank you all for listening. I'm Josh Smith with me each week. And it's just you this week, Doc. It's just us two. Dr. Bob Lawrence, how you doing, Doc?
Man, I'm doing great. I got to spend an hour with you, just with you.
I know, right? You're like, this guy again? God. Just this guy?
Really? We couldn't get anybody? What the heck,
And
man?
God, honestly, to start the year off, I mean, Jose
Legacy
Trevino. Music.
Yep.
I mean, so got a MLB catcher right now.
Yep.
Starting pretty much going to be, we know he can be starting for the Rangers this year. Definitely pretty much their starter. He's their guy.
Absolutely.
Regardless. So then we get a legacy music group producing Grammy award nominated engineer.
Yes.
Remember?
Yes.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Then to top it off, last week on Super Bowl weekend, we got a Super Bowl champion here at Nick Lecky.
You know, a guy that's only snapped the ball to Drew Brees a couple times.
Only. And a few other quarterbacks, but for real, that's all you got to mention is Drew Brees. And a Super Bowl victory, and you're done.
He's a champion.
Yes, he is. He's got that ring. And I should ask him about that ring. Hey, where's the ring sitting? I should have asked him about that.
Yeah.
So many questions. We got to get him back on. He's so great. Great shows to start the year off, so what a way.
Yeah.
Now, unfortunately, it's just us today, but I'm looking to get one on next week. If not, maybe you. We got a few lined up.
We got a few.
We've got some studs lined up.
Definite studs lined up, but don't spill the beans.
That's not. Let's keep them. Oh, come on. You got to tell. No, it's like watching my wrestling back in the day, and I'm like, oh, you got to, what's going to happen next? Tell me. You got to let me know. On tap today, recap and preview. Plenty of sports to recap, including the big one, the Super Bowl 54.
Yes.
A lot of people watched it. What's up, Doc? It's been a few weeks. You got a little What's Up, Doc going?
Yeah, I got a little topic to talk about.
That's fun.
We'll spend a little time on it. You're an expert at it, so I got to get your opinion.
I'm an expert at everything, they say, supposedly. You know me. Anyway, we'll definitely get to Tweet of the Week. I think we all know who has that one in the bag. Sent you that text?
Yeah.
It was pretty funny.
Yeah.
And we'll just skim through that one. But, of course, Sunday is the Oscars. I kind of preview this on the live tidbit beforehand on Instagram. Check our Instagram account out. We do a little live preview of what we're going to talk about today. That's going to be live on Monday where everyone can listen to it or see us right here on YouTube. But got to do our Mount Rushmore of top movies of all time. There's a lot to choose from. Most of mine are older, too, by the way. We didn't mention that in the preview. How when we get into that little topic, it's a lot like music. Just things are
very hard. It's hard, especially if you haven't. I haven't seen a lot of movies, man.
Yeah, and with that, too, and I was saying what we're talking about,
I used to
the
see
quality. That's what I'm saying. The quality's gone down.
Right.
A lot of people say, there's some good movies here and there, yes, but it's not like it used to be. Not even close.
Right.
But we'll get into that. And I'm going to talk about some favorite actors and actresses of all time. I definitely got a few. As in, if they're in a movie, you're not maybe always going to see it, but it's going to make that movie a little bit better. And you love seeing they're just good. They're really good, obviously, what they do. Obviously, they're making millions. And in our coveted Stud or Dud segment, we got to record, or I should say someone records his 10th straight, which is a record, #1 album. Nuts. Just get a little music in. You got to talk some music, especially Grammys last month. Legacy Music Group. But first, let's recap and preview. Let's get straight to it. The Super Bowl. Doc, did you watch?
Of course I watched.
Obviously. Right. Got the food entrees.
You saw the snaps of the food, right?
How are the ribs? Phenomenal.
Oh, man.
They look beautiful.
Man, he started smoking those bad boys in an egg,
Yeah.
Like 3 days ahead of time, man.
Yeah, like Friday when we were, like you said, when we were talking.
He was smoking them.
Those were smoking.
Oh, my God. They were unbelievable. The ribs were fantastic. He had sourdough bread, of course, and clam chowder and all the fixings.
Yeah.
And then to top it off, a little ice cream sundae with a little Irish coffee at the end.
Well, look at you.
Oh, my God.
In and off in style.
Oh, it was awesome.
Who drove home?
Well, I did.
Okay. I didn't make sure. I didn't know I drove home. How many beers you had.
I did okay. I'm old now, man, so I can't drink like
exactly. That's what me. The older you get, the more you know.
So I think I had one beer and I had an Irish coffee. So that was it.
Nice. Well, hey, regardless, the food, the game, which we'll get to, but yes, plenty of nice entrees. I sent you the pictures as well.
Yes.
And the traditional stuff: wings, cheese dip.
Yeah, I saw that. Wings look great.
Oh man, my little we old school classic easy dessert. We did it the last couple years, and last year we did footballs. And we do Rice Krispie treats.
Nice.
We'll just make them in the shape of footballs.
Oh, that's very good.
Easy. But yeah, just did the normal classic easy, just munch, eat all game long, can just go in there and just kind of munch on stuff.
Yeah.
It's what it's for, though. I mean, are you kidding me?
Right.
That night, I was so full.
Did you watch any of the pre-games? I did. I can't handle that, man. I can't handle watching the Super Bowl starting at like 10 o'clock in the morning and going until 5 in the morning.
Speaking of this, because it seems like I just talked to him, I was like, no, I knew it was Dad. But Avery first and then Dad on Sunday, or maybe before the game. Avery's like, point being, here's what the story. Avery's like, why? There's me, before the game on, we're, trying to get stuff, before we start getting stuff done, it's like noon or 1 before we really kind of start getting, anyway. There's nothing on TV. I'm like, yeah, it's Super Bowl Sunday. No one's going up against that on Sunday. I'm like, look, and I went to the channel just for fun. I'm like, the pre-show's already on. I'm like, nothing is going on right now. There will not be a new show on tonight, and if so, they're dumb. I was like, there might be a few new shows, like on the TLCs or whatever.
Right.
But you get my point. I'm like, yeah, I'm right there with you. I'm like, really? It's like an all day, and it is for a lot of people. That's like because people are putting it on that channel at right now, like we are. Well, we didn't leave it on that. We get my point. We ended up doing stuff, walking. It was a beautiful Sunday. It's got 80 degrees here on Sunday.
Yeah, right.
We walked the dogs. We
so
worked
much
out.
to do, right? There was somebody that sat down at like 9:30 in the morning, turned it on, and was like, oh my God,
for sure,
Super Bowl Sunday.
Oh, and the people were those parties. I understand if you're having a Super Bowl party and you got like 10, 15, 20 people coming over to your house, or you're going over to that house and party starts at 2. You get my point.
Right.
I could kind of understand that, especially if your team's involved.
Right.
But yeah, if you're like us, you're a fair weather fan, you just want a good game, you're really that, unless you're going to a party, boy,
right?
You love some football.
I'm telling you.
They do that because it's not like the World Series. They're not on like it. The game starts at 8 or 7 and they're on at like noon or 1.
Right.
I guess. So it's funny. It is funny how they do that now for the NFL. But back to the game. Great game though. 3 straight comebacks for the Chiefs. 3 straight, I think, double-digit comebacks, especially in the fourth quarter, down 10. And here's what's so funny, and I wrote it down just so I wouldn't forget, but I literally looked at Avery, and I'll never forget. And I kind of do the same thing, not as much as they probably do because they're players, so it's automatically always happening. Literally 8, 9, whatever, 9 minutes, however many minutes were left. I was like, they've got at least 2 possessions left, maybe 3 at max with timeouts and stoppage clock. I was like, they're still in it. I'm like, it isn't over with unless, like I said, Von Miller shows up, which, like type as in strip sack. You end it with that at the end and then go up like, say, 27-10. It's probably over. But that didn't happen. What happened in Super Bowl 50? They finally wore off and they couldn't contain that beast that was, and 21 straight like that in those 3 possessions. Oh, by the way, that they ended up getting that I called. So I loved it. I was like, Avery, I wish I would have, like, someone was recording. Or we already had our TLC show, 27 and counting. We're up to 27. You know what I mean,
right?
And someone there was like, "I call you." I was like, "That's 3%. Did it." Not that I was even for them, but I kind of felt good about it. I was like, "Yeah, okay, go Chiefs." That's why I was texting you. All right, cool, go Chiefs. But once again, feel bad for Shanahan. Go back to when he was at Atlanta. Remember, he left a huge lead as offensive coordinator.
Right.
And, of course, his dad. I'd love to see that combo both winning. That was why I was kind of for them, really, just because it was Mike's son. And, man, I wish we would have got him. And then I'm like, see, Denver suit, we probably could have done, even still yet. But great turnaround because last year I didn't bring up last week. One of the best turnarounds ever because last year they were 4-12. This year they go to the Super Bowl. So great year for 49ers, but wow.
Yeah.
I mean, but to the limelight, the Chiefs. Andy Reid, you kidding me?
How can you not be happy for that guy?
Yeah.
21 years coaching in the NFL.
I mean,
finally gets the big prize.
Yep, exactly.
Good for him, man.
Yeah.
And it was great. There's a picture of him receiving the trophy, and you can just see in his eyes, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
You can just see that he realizes that.
Oh yeah.
He made it.
Yeah. And Mahomes not even close to having literally about like that. God, I keep going because it was kind of like it. It reminded me of a lot like it because point being, Mahomes didn't have the best of games. Kind of had, like I said, kept reverting back to Super Bowl 50, kind of like Cam Newton type game. Throw the interceptions at first, really wasn't in it. Boy, I mean, he just blew up there at the end. I mean, he just.
That's what great athletes do.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, like I said, it wasn't the same because why I reverts because like I knew it was gonna be a good game first, and I was like, hey, this is coming out and I kept obviously because my Broncos, but it doesn't just the compound of the two. Good defense, the offense was good, much better than the Broncos that year, but it was not much better, but better versus the highlight of the KC offense like Carolina. Well, if they could get, Von Miller's super stud, but Bosa is too young. Von Miller had been in the league, 5-6 years at the time, or however, at least 3-4. So he's already a stud. Bosa's a stud, but he's not. You get my point. So he didn't take over in that game. 2 forced fumbles by Von that led to 2 touchdowns by Von. You set my point. So early on, point being, first drive, KC 3 and out. I'm like, oh, and Bosa had that deflection. I'm like, it's gonna be a good game. Then just like the Broncos did, literally went down and got a field goal on their opening drive. So they were up 3-0 after forcing.
How the hell are we talking about the Broncos during this?
Just saying,
we're talking Super Bowl, Kansas City, San Francisco, and you're talking Broncos.
Because I guarantee you, if I wish I had someone.
Should I start talking about the '84 Bears or something now?
If it reminded you of that game, but the '84 Bears blew them out. They blew out who? It was the Patriots. That was the one that the Patriots got.
Yeah, but anyway. I mean, oh my gosh.
But if there was someone that was here from ESPN like that, they'd be like, you're right on a lot that was very similar. And I was even calling that beforehand. And then the fact that they're up 10, I'm like, wow, this is playing out a lot like it. But anyway, KC, hard to pull down. I can't believe in the end that they pulled out 20. I thought it was going to be a good game. As in I was hoping overtime. I was like, man, it was like they blew them out at the end. 49ers just got, it's like they put one of those flash grenade, those flashbangs in front of them. And they were just all walking around dazed and confused.
It's what great teams do. It's what great athletes do.
And like it was due. Like at the end, so they were due. It was their year.
It's no different than the '90 Yankees. You could be up 7 runs going into the bottom of the 9th inning.
You just never know. Yeah,
be careful.
Yeah,
because they're going to win this game.
Yeah, you just never know. Great game though. It was a great game. Great to see another comeback. Next year's odds though already they have them as the odds-on favorite. You got to, I guess. Been a while since someone we've had back-to-back, so we'll see if they can do it. But they're at the 6-1 favorites. Ravens right behind them at 7-1. 49ers right behind them at 8-1. So there's your top 3. Saints at 11-1. So there's your top 4. Cowboys 18-1. Broncos 75-1. Yeah. Here's what surprised me. I think they moved down. Anyway, the Browns, they're still like 25 or 30-1. They were right with the Texans. I'm like, how? So it's
watch out for the Browns, man.
Watch next year. It's coaching.
Watch out for the Browns.
They got to get the right coaching.
They've been catching a lot of smack, but watch out for the Browns.
And we both said it though. He's a great. Anyway. How many commercials is
Baker
Mayfield in? He needs to stop. He needs to worry about the on-field and stop. Okay, you've got enough going on already. Like, hey, okay, I've done. You've got enough rotation. Can I just go worry about on-field stuff now? You get my point, though.
I like his
commercial. I know, it's great. He's good. The stat, the handlebar thing and all that. Listen, man. Go win 11 games, get my point. 2 seasons in a row. Then you can go back to being Peyton Manning.
Why those commercials are funny, man? He's just imitating what he's seen his dad do for all those years.
Oh, yeah, right? Yeah.
I mean, it's constantly. It's just imitating his dad. It's so funny, man.
Wow. Especially being in where he grew up. I mean, Oklahoma, Texas. You get my point. I mean, like, that was just, he probably saw that everywhere. It wasn't just his dad. It was probably 30 other dads.
My boys always go, Dad, that's exactly like you. I'm like, dude, that's exactly like every father.
That's what I'm saying.
That's what happens.
Literally. You'll get there one day, I promise. I'm already turning out so funny. I'm like that middle-aged rally cows. Never be like you, Dad. Now I'm like, I am my dad.
Yeah, that's scary, right?
Yep. Let's get just a little quick. Got to talk about some tennis. The Aussie Open, just because an American won on the women's singles side. Sophie, never even heard of her. Sophia Kenin. I think she's 14th overall.
Yeah, pretty impressive.
It was impressive, was it not? But here's the one thing I definitely have to bring up. It's happening today. I'm pretty sure it's this weekend. I wish I would have looked up. I wrote on here the dang day. Nadal versus Federer. The match in Africa. It's called in Africa 6, I think, or Africa 6. What they're doing is they're looking for the largest attendance, setting the record ever, which they're shooting for 50,000 people, which would be the largest ever, which is 42,000 originally, which was set. 10,000 tickets are sold at $11 a piece. The hopes, though, is to raise $1 million for Roger Federer Foundation. So everything that they make today, all those ticket sales are going to that in hopes to raise $1 million, which supports early childhood education. So I'm like, that's pretty cool. And they're also going to do a doubles contest, which will feature, they'll have like 2 teammates. Each one of them have a teammate. Federer's teammate will be Bill Gates. Trevor Noah will be Nadal's teammate. Trevor, I'm like, really? You get you go all the way down. Trevor Noah's on Comedy Central. He does like not Steve Colbert. God, what that guy's name was? Comedy Central. I forgot what it's called on Comedy Central. Stephen Colbert, I think, used to be on that show on late night. I forget. Oh no, what is that? It's like a news show that's been on Comedy Central for forever. Oh my gosh.
Dude, I don't know.
Yeah, I know exactly, and that's what who Bill Gates. Who doesn't know who Bill Gates is? I'm like, really? Those are your 2? But anyway, you get my point. They're just all trying to raise money. Now I've got to look this up because it's going to kill me. Trevor Noah. What is it called? He's political stuff. Colbert, because Colbert came from there. What is his show? Oh my gosh. The Daily Show. You've heard of, have you been? Okay, but you've heard of The Daily Show. Yeah. Who was on that before? He'd been on there forever. Jon Stewart, right? Yeah, Jon Stewart. Jon Stewart was that host for the longest time. Craig Kilborn before that was the first host, and now it's Trevor Noah. So, he's kind of a comedian. Anywho, thought it was kind of cool. I was like, that's cool. Good for them. At least it's all for, good cause. Let's do a little NBA catch-up. Few teams, they have, the trade deadline's usually big this year. Only one team, or a couple, it was too big. The 2 LA teams, they're out for, all the other teams didn't make any moves, and the only noise was who's going to get Marquise Morris out of the Knicks, and it ended up being the Clippers, which I'm happy, obviously, about. Never been a Laker fan, and then plus picking the Clippers this year. I'm kind of like, hey, good for them. They need some low-post presence to deal with LA's height. So that was like the big, kind of trade overall. There wasn't really that many other names mentioned. Last night's game, though, speaking of the Lakers, they lost to Houston. Houston thinking they would make a move, but they really didn't do anything.
I was watching that game. I fell asleep, but it was a good game.
I was
just that tired.
I'm right there with you. It's like that's what I love this time of year. You can turn on TNT or whatever, and like boom, okay, or ESPN, and I'm just falling asleep to this game. Those West Coast games that are on till 1 o'clock here, almost essentially midnight. The other big game last night, Philadelphia lost at Milwaukee. My Bucks just cruising on along, and that was what the other thing that was going.
Dangerous team.
Definitely so. Tonight's games: Dallas plays Washington. They play, then travel to Charlotte tomorrow. So back-to-back games, Friday night, Saturday on the road, doing that little road swing on the East Coast with little troubles lately. Kind of been down. Speaking of which, down to 7th place after the recent struggles, the injury to Powell. So
it's basketball.
That is for you. I mean, hopefully, I would imagine they still make the playoffs. But lately, Utah, they're the ones, obviously, which we mentioned them lately. Utah, OKC, they're kind of been on a roll, so they've kind of taken over that. But the drop-off goes to the Mavs at 31-10, 8th place, the Memphis Grizzlies at 26-25, and then 9th place. So essentially 8 games back, Portland at 23-28. So they're still halfway through almost essentially. Get that probably late season surge. Luka and Porzingis need to learn how to get that rolling. If they can get that going and rolling, that's a pretty good combo. Speaking of which, out west, LA still at 38-11, still leading the pack. Right behind them, though, Clippers, especially after last night's win, closing the gap a little bit closer. They're at 36 and let me update. Let me make sure this is 38-12, because now after last night, LA's 38-12. The Lakers are, the Clippers are 36-15, so just 2.5 back now. So got a nice little race going on out there. And Denver's just like last year. My Nuggets, I say my Nuggets just because they're from Denver. They're in Denver.
Big shock.
Yeah, right. Yeah, 36-16. They're still in 3rd place. I mean, just kind of like no, you don't hear from the quiet. Houston, the other, the Westbrook and Harden, they're in 4th place. Just kind of great game last night, but anyway, Bucks though out east. Whew. 44-7. They're looking good. I mean,
very
the beast. Good. Yeah, Giannis.
Greek freak, man.
Yeah, he's a stud. He's a stud. Toronto, which is crazy. Look at Toronto, 37-14. So imagine if they still had Kawhi Leonard.
Oh my God.
I know. That's what I'm saying. They'd be right there. They'd be right around for that 44-7. I'd bet they'd be right. They'd be them and the Bucks again.
They'd be looking at repeating.
For sure. So it's crazy how good they are. The coaching.
Yes.
Woo! Boston. Your Boston Celtics, though, still looking good. 35-15. Yeah. Pulled ahead of the Heat. 34-16 as of late. So nice. We know who's going to win the East. It's pretty much, and we know who's going to win the West. It's just which we think we know, but that's the thing. Denver's 36-16. They're only 3 games back from LA. So I doubt they win the West. It's probably going to be LA or LA. Nice little close race.
It is.
Out West. And then out West, it's who's going to get second, really, essentially.
Right.
Or I should say out East. But yeah, I had to bring it up. Speaking, like I said, let's get to the NCAA really real quick. There's not much to mention. It's almost the same, literally, as 2 weeks ago since we mentioned NCAA basketball. Their rankings in the top 3 have remained the same.
Yeah, right. Nothing's changed.
Baylor still at number 1, Zag number 3, Kansas Zag's number 2, Kansas number 3.
But it's right around the corner.
Oh, it's coming. Which I love even more so. Well, not more so. What I love because it gets you going is conference tournaments because you just know you're.
I love that, man.
Then you get selection. Then you get selection Sunday. Yeah, then you get selection Sunday. So now you're foaming at the mouth. You're going, here we go, man. I'm going to be.
It's coming.
Because that Thursday, I'm like I said, trading socks, and then boom, I got the TV on above me, and I'm just waiting for that to come. Just like this is heaven. This is just great.
Right.
So yes, can't wait. But yeah, not much has changed. Duke's still right there. What are they at? Number. Or here's the surprise: San Diego State, undefeated at number 4 in the country. Let's see what they do when we come tournament time. Obviously, they're going to be making the tournament, and we'll see if they win their conference tournament because that's one of those things I could see them going undefeated till then they lose like their title or in the semifinals, and you get my point. So we'll see there. But Louisville,
I'm just going to say 2 words to you. San Diego State, right?
Yeah.
Here's 2 words: Utah Utes.
Okay. Utah's made some good runs though. It's been since the 90s since Rick Majerus has been there, but yes, it's been a while. But do you remember that?
Yeah.
Nick Van Horn. No, the white guy that was a baller out there. But exactly. I'm right there with you.
Okay.
I thought you were going to go Utah State, whatever. Utah State Unicorns. But number 7, Louisville, who I have, and then Duke, who you have at number 9. So we have a lot of teams. Right. We did pretty good with our Final Four. I am going to be stunned if we get 2 apiece in there from our way too early predictions.
Yeah.
I mean, because you can do them now. You get my point of conference tournament, or even do them at the start of the tournament. Okay, now you can who you can have. That's when everyone does them. When the brackets start.
Right.
We did these things back in November.
Right.
So it'll be awesome to see how good they get or how close we get. It'll be good to see. All right, tweet of the week. Let's
Yes.
get onto it. Let's move on now from a
Yes.
little sports to the tweet of the week.
Yes.
Let's go back to the Super Bowl.
Yes.
It's pretty funny.
Yes.
Mr. Donald Trump.
Yes.
The president, the POTUS,
Yes.
congratulating the great state of Kansas.
Well, you got to cut him a little slack, man.
he got half it. I mean, that's what's so
Right,
funny.
you got to
I'm
cut
from
him a
the
little
area, I'm
slack.
like, it's
Kansas
really-
City can't.
I
I mean, you
know.
got to cut. And if you're not a big sports fan, which he's not. I mean, he might try to play like he is.
And that's
you know,
why I just.
But he's
just
not.
Leave the phone down. Someone take the phone away from him and let him be president.
You know, so you got to cut him a little
They're
slack.
based in Missouri. We know this, but
and we all know that people giving him a bunch of grief probably can't even name the 3 branches of the government.
yeah, and the
so
three-
you know,
and the
it's
people
like,
around him that probably told him, "Here, okay, here's what you're gonna type." They were like, "It's in Kansas, yeah, oh yeah, the Kansas Jayhawks. I mean, the Kansas City."
And by the way, I've been to Kansas City, Kansas. Lovely.
yeah, or Kansas City, Missouri.
I've been to both.
They're beautiful. I hate that it's divided by a line. You go up there, it's essentially the same city.
Right.
They're all celebrating. You think someone in Kansas City, Kansas, going, "Well, those Chiefs over in Missouri." I mean, no, they're all going, hell yeah. I mean, anyway. So
That's their team.
That's what I was like, you got it.
It's
But it
their
was
team,
great.
man.
It was definitely a good tweet of the
Oh,
week.
my
Caused a
gosh.
lot of stirs, but yes, I'm like, oh gosh. But yeah, it's good stuff, good stuff. Hey, once again, so happy for that area. How awesome would it be if I didn't think about that if I still lived up there?
Hey,
oh,
man, a lot of the Chief fans, man, they've, as a Cubby fan, I can, you know.
Somewhat relate. I've got a friend that I went to high school or even grade school with. I mean, 7th grade, I went to, moved to Cabot in 7th grade. But anyway, Kansas City Chiefs, and you love this, Notre Dame Fighting Irish fan, die hard. That he loves both of them, and so you get my point. He feels definitely the pain, especially for KC. And man, always tweeting, all Facebooks are always see his stuff, and man, even when they're not that great, obviously now the last few years that they've been good. I mean, you always see that red and the yellow. You get my point. So good to see, definitely good to see. Like I said, living in that area, so it's certainly cool. That's why it didn't hurt me too much because, like I was saying, Nick last week, it was the Raiders or even the Chargers, because they have Hunter Henry who played Arkansas, but. Raiders, ugh. But
yeah, that's a great area.
Love the area, love the people. I lived up there literally just like an hour right outside the city, so I did sports all around that city. Went to Kansas City multiple times. Love it. So
the complex down there where the stadiums are, it's
love it. Oh yeah, the one game I went to, like I said, I mentioned it, because the colors at my station was KCHI. They're all red, so it's a huge, almost trench coat that's red, and I'll never forget. I'm like, I'm wearing this to the game when I get in there. That's when I'll expose my Manning jersey, and I'm like, oh no, and they're all like, oh, at first giving me a hard time with the whole game. They're just loving life. Even we come back and win, and they're just like so awesome, greatest awesome. And then you get my point. Yeah, you're looking at the baseball stadium and the football stadium right here.
I love that, man.
Love when they have that set up.
Yeah, Denver's
pretty close. You can't. It's not as, but that's what I love about Denver. The stadium's right here. The downtown's right there with with Coors Field, and then they have a cool little. Amusement, what do you want to call those things? Amusement park, but like, you know what I mean? Like a Six Flags right there.
Right,
I think it's called Elitch Gardens, but yeah, right there. It's so pretty. But yeah, when you have that little combo,
it's nice.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. That's what I hate about here. So everything's so spread. I mean, you get my point. Everything's so spread out, but we still have that here, which is so pretty. You get my point. You'd figure there'd be a stadium here. The fact that they are both over in Arlington still, as in the Rangers and the Cowboys.
Yeah.
That's super cool.
It's nice.
It's a cool little, and then that Texas Live or that cool little big complex they have over there.
That's man, that's looking good.
Whew.
I like how that's shaping up.
Yeah, it's super cool for game day.
I like how that's shaping up.
You got a whole day. There's where you get your whole day. Let's go. I mean, you spend some cheddar, but lots to do. Now there's not instead of just going to the game, go there and leave or tailgate. Now you can all these live events, live acts, different all these different atmospheres to go to. Which
it's pretty neat.
Yep. Got to get to it though. The Oscars.
Yeah.
Not so happy about it. You're like, kind of like and you didn't watch the Grammys, which the Grammys ended up being sappy because of poor Kobe Bryant. So the Grammys were just like a sad fest.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't really care too much about the Grammys, and I care even less about the Oscars.
The Oscars, yeah. Gotcha. And the Grammys is the only reason you can, at least you get to hear some live music. Oscars, it's just, you know what I mean? Kind of boring along.
If the Oscars were about the movies, I might tune in.
Yeah, give you some cool little, I understand, like made it more movie-ish.
If it were actually about the art and the craft, maybe I'd watch it. But it's turned into a political fest, regardless of which aisle you're on.
Right, that's
true. It just turns into a political fest, and quite honestly, I don't care what Tom Hanks has to say about politics.
Yeah, well, Robert De Niro.
Or any of them.
Yeah.
I don't really care. So,
here's what I can point me in. She did a great job. Back to the Grammys, Billie Eilish. She's the one that swept at the Grammys, and she the youngest to win. Anyway, great for her. But every time she got up there, so and so should have won this. I can't be like she every time.
Right.
That's what you should do. Like so humbled, like I'm winning this.
Well,
I had to go up against those people and I won. Like, are you kidding? Like,
right.
That's what you. That's the great. That's if anything that, or just say, hey, thank the people that helped you along the way and helped you get that worked on that film.
Right.
If you're talking about you know what I mean, or
it used to be like that.
yeah, oh yeah, for sure, oh yeah, and now even like we've talked about the quality.
The award shows used to be about the actual craft,
about
the art, and unfortunately, it's gone. A lot of different directions, which are not good.
Yeah, and movie, like you said, we've even said movie quality, terrible.
Not good.
Yeah, like storylines. Like I love if they would have done a great job. Like my Transformers movies. You think of Transformers, you're just thinking of Transformers, but nothing. Like the first one had a pretty decent story. I'm like, you get my point. Not that you would want. Okay, you're thinking of robots transform outer space. You can still give me a good storyline. You see what I'm saying? Like it's like that.
A great storyline can carry a movie.
Big time. I mean, like you get The Notebook. It came with that girl's love. Anyway, just thinking of that, just came off the top of my head. Not even it's a small movie. It was like probably had, but now it's like this huge. Like a lot of those movies that blow up they call them cult classics. That they blow up afterward because all these people love it. Low budget, but this a storyline. It was like almost like the movie that actually Michael made when he was doing good movies, unlike Transformers, Pearl Harbor in '98. Whereas there's a love story going on. This guy leaves to go to war. She's got to let him go to war, right? You can't, like, it's in what happened back in the day. So what happened? She falls in love with someone else. Well, then he comes back. The other person supposedly dies too. So not only does your first lover go off to war, you kind of fall in love with someone else while he's gone because he is gone. Then your lover, you hear that he supposedly dies or whatever. I forget, you get my point. Then he comes back. Just these good storylines where you're kind of getting into it or whatever. Well, where now it's just you're just fast forwarding, it's jump cutting one thing to the other. You're just supposed to assume stuff essentially.
Right. I'll give you a classic example. You're too young to remember this, but the very first Rocky film that came out. Okay, Stallone produced that movie on like a shoestring budget. Man.
Right.
It was like
nothing.
Zero money, right? And the storyline carries that movie. It's not that the acting is all that fantastic.
You think Rocky?
Right?
I almost said Rocky Sylvester, but you think Sylvester Stallone's a great actor? Or boxing movies are great, usually classics, or even sports movies in general.
And it's not that the cinematography was fantastic or anything, right? But the storyline was captivating.
Yep, like the original Longest Yard.
Right.
Or what's the movie with Gale Sayers and
Brian's Song? Yeah,
just good storylines.
Just good storylines. If you go back and watch the movie itself.
What's the guy's name in Brian's Song that's a great actor, has been acting forever?
You're going like, man, did they film this with a GoPro or what?
Right, exactly. I know, right? Well, especially back then. Well, back then it was like, not even a GoPro. Like, did they film that on a 2011 phone that first just had a camera phone? You know what I mean? A 2011 camera phone.
But my point being is, we can all overlook that.
Right.
With a good storyline.
Right, exactly.
We can look beyond that.
Oh, big time. Yep. So definitely lost art. Go through real quick, which that's the thing. I'm going to see just on my own terms. If I've seen any of these movies, I'm sure you haven't seen a dime of them.
No, not latest since 2002 when our first son was born.
There you go. Yeah, there you go. So best picture this year, which I've heard of these for sure. 1917. It's a picture that just came out.
I would love to see that.
That looks good. That does see good storyline where the brothers have got a.
I would love to see that.
That looks good. Ford versus Ferrari. Probably pretty decent storyline there.
Maybe I'll take my wife out for Valentine's Day to a movie. That would be nice.
1917 will be good because there won't be many people in there either. It'll be I don't know. It's
about war and
that's the only thing.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Then I just go to that, and then I was like, that's not so much of a good Valentine's Day movie. Ford versus Ferrari, which I heard that's got Christian Bale.
That would be kind of fun to watch.
Yes, I want to watch that too eventually when that comes out to rent, which I think is pretty soon. Joker, which is out. That's the Joker movie, which did a pretty. What's got? Forgot who did. He's up for I think probably Best Actor. Maybe he's not. Yeah, Joaquin Phoenix, which he's up for Best Actor for Joker. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, which I did see. That's one I have seen. So I've seen Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. It's Quentin Tarantino. It's got Leonardo DiCaprio. Brad Pitt. It's about the Manson murders. Like the fake Manson Once Upon a Time. What almost happened or could have happened. It's kind of funny. It's kind of cool. The Irishman, Little Women, Jojo Rabbit, Marriage Story, and Parasite. Have not seen any of those. And a lot of those too, like I think Jojo Rabbit, Marriage Story, and Parasite are sometimes they put those now. They're putting those smaller movies in there that may be pretty good. How you watch them? It's so hard to find them sometimes. Right. Best Actor, Jonathan Pryce for The Two Popes, Adam Driver, Marriage Story, Antonio Banderas for Pain and Glory, which I've never heard of that. Joaquin Phoenix for Joker, Leonardo DiCaprio for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Supporting actor, Anthony Hopkins, Brad Pitt, Joe Pesci for The Irishman. Good to see Joe Pesci around again. Al Pacino, obviously we've seen him forever, and Tom Hanks for A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood doing Mr. Rogers, which I got to see that too. I'm sure that'll probably make me cry. Avery will be looking over like, this is great, and then You're crying again? This is the 4th time, Josh. Best actress, I like Charlize Theron. She's pretty good. Even Renee Zellweger, there she is. I haven't seen her in a while. I'm sure she's still acting, doing stuff. Doing Judy. I think she did the Judy Garland movie. Zellweger portrayed her.
Okay.
Cynthia Erivo. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Scarlett Johansson, which I like her a lot too. And Saoirse Ronan. I've heard of her. Yeah, right. Here's somebody you've heard of. Kathy Bates for Best Supporting Actress.
All right.
Margot Robbie, who I do like a lot. She's playing... Oh my gosh, Birds of Prey. It comes out. Oh, Harley Quinn. They were in Harley Quinn as in Joker's girlfriend.
Yeah.
That comes out actually this coming week. Scarlett, Scarlett Wow. ScarJo. I don't know if this ever happened before. Scarlett Johansson up for Best Actress, Marriage Story. Scarlett Johansson up for Best Supporting Actress, Jojo Rabbit. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
She's really come. I shouldn't say a long way because the stuff she used to be in, she was like in kid movies, and now it's like wow, crazy to see him. To where they're like doing serious roles in movies that are actually, you get my point. Jojo Rabbit. Right. Those are probably those movies that actually are low budget, have a storyline. Right. You go watch, and you're like, wow, it's a pretty good movie.
Right.
Best director, and I'll be done with this. Quentin Tarantino for Once Upon a Time. Todd Phillips for Joker. Bong Joon-ho, which I saw this on TMZ the other day. They're like, oh wow, for Parasite. I guess this Parasite movie must be good. I don't know what it's about. Scorsese up again for The Irishman. Man, that guy's up for almost, it seems like every time he makes a good movie, which is a lot of them.
Right.
And then 1917's director Sam Mendes.
Wow.
See, 1917's we got to watch that one.
Man, the whole time you're going through that list, I just kept thinking, man, once you become parents, especially parents of 4 children.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, especially 4. Not just like one where maybe you can like start sneak them in here and there.
And, and when they play sports and we're at basketball games and baseball games and
well, you're up here at the school a lot. You're at it's not like you're at even a 9 to 5.
I kept thinking like, man, geez, we just don't go to movies, man, because it's just, there's so many other things that are just occupying our time.
Exactly. Yep.
You got to have time to go to movies, man.
Yep. Or it's got to be like that one set family every Sunday, since if you're all or whatever day it is, try to get that. Yeah, it's got to be either tradition when you're that busy, or otherwise you don't do stuff. You're a movie family. You do movies and that kind of stuff. Your kids aren't playing sports all the time.
Right. If your kids are in like competitive sports, I mean, we're like on a weekend, our baseball season's starting to kick up, right? Mm-hmm. Right now. So we're getting to the point, plus they're playing competitive basketball. So now we're getting to the point to where we're having, 4, 5, 6 games in a weekend that we're running to,
Right.
Come on.
Yeah.
Man.
Oh yeah.
We're getting home Sunday night at like 10:30.
It's like we said, or I'll say 1 kid maybe, but even 2 maybe. But you have multiple, definitely 2 plus doing activities that are that busy.
Right.
So,
So it's been a long time since, when Tam and I dated before we had kids, we'd love to go to hey, Friday night, let's go see a show.
Yeah.
We'd go get a bite to eat, go to a movie. Man.
Oh, until
maybe when we're empty nesters, we could do that.
Yeah. Well, until I had girlfriends, which that was, my deal in, I guess 8th grade. That was when the movies started up. But yeah, I'm right. Point being, otherwise I wasn't seeing movies unless it was, you get my point. When I remember like thinking about like 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, I didn't see that. I mean, I saw them when I was at home. I had a ton of VHSs. But man, I didn't go see a ton of, maybe 3 or 4 a year, something like that. But until I had girlfriends, and that was just kind of the date thing to do, especially when back when someone had to tote you around and
you're right.
Hey, where are we going to go to the mall, go to the movies, go to the bowling alley?
I would assume movie attendance has declined, has it not? Especially with the streaming services where you can go on and watch.
Oh yeah,
Netflix,
and that's why they've upped ticket prices so much to kind of make sure the box office stays. That's why they rake in bukus of money. But if you look at ticket sales, that's why you look at say ticket sales of Gone with the Wind. Ticket sales for that movie versus say even ticket sales for like Titanic that grossed a ton of, or even obviously it ain't even close. That one has like double the ticket.
I would imagine.
Triple the ticket sales.
Imagine, right? Because people are like, man, we could just stay in our home, just kind of stream it in, chill out.
Yep. Busy like you, we'll wait for it to stream when it is live to be able to stream it. You get my
And at one time, people used to go, yeah, but it's one thing to see it on the big screen. Well, heck, people now are going like, dude, I got a big screen.
Have you seen one at home? Yeah, exactly. I mean, you can you can really make it pretty nice.
I got surround sound. I got like a big screen.
Yes.
It's pretty good.
Yes. I mean, it's pretty crazy how we've come a long way there to where
Right.
Even up until the early 2000s, I mean, you could get to the big box screens. And then about that time, maybe that's when it started shifting definitely more so. But yeah, you talk about 90s and before when no one had those big, the big screen, the big square ones or whatever. Yeah, those movies was where it was at. And then eventually you start getting those flat screens in and those surround sounds that you can put in, the Bose surround or whatever you want to get.
People putting theaters in their homes.
Literally now, for sure, for the last 10, 15 years.
Right,
so.
right.
Got a little rest in peace, Kirk Douglas, talking about old school actors and been
103, man.
Yeah, almost had that many film credits, which is crazy. I think he had like 90. So
that's phenomenal.
Phenomenal. I mean, even at like what he was in Spartacus at like age 40, 45 or something like that. When I looked at his timeline, I'm like, dang, and that was one of his main roles. I mean, you look at him and how good he looked, and disappoint me back then. I'm like, that dude, especially if you would have looked around, and looked at everyone else, like Kirk Douglas is living until he's 90 for sure. You know what I mean? How good he looked at that age. You're like, that dude's living a long time because unless something crazy happens, which almost did. I think it was when he was older. The helicopter crash, which I didn't know about that. Yeah, I guess his helicopter crash ran in with a stunt plane, like one of those small stunt planes, killed 2 people. You should have seen the helicopter. It fell straight. He survived somehow with minor injuries, but yes. So he was just due to live till he was pretty much that candle was done burning. Yeah, talk about a stud.
You know, at 103 though, I bet he was like,
"Oh, I'm done.
I'm ready.
Take me home, baby."
Yeah. Turn out the lights.
Yeah, the party's
over.
Yes, exactly. No one to hold him, no one to fold him.
Right. Exactly. Right. You got to be thinking like, guys. I'm for sure. And that was awesome. A great picture last week. Mel Brooks. It was 4 comedians from. God, I've got to look it up. Mel Brooks. It was a picture last week. You'll know every name when I mention it. All in their 90s, looking spry and great as ever. Looking good, huh?
Mel Brooks.
God, I hope God blesses me like that. I'd love to live a long life, have my mind together.
Oh yeah, because he was on. It was on
good physical health.
Yes.
What a blessing.
It was on TMZ the other day. I watched it in the afternoon when I'm working out just to see kind of entertainment stuff, see if I catch anything. Oh, one of them was Carl Reiner. I wish I could see the rest of the picture. God, where's another one? It was all 4 of them. God, it was just all 4 of them. Oh, this is one of them.
They all look good, huh?
Yeah, here it is, right here. Oh, Dick Van Dyke.
I love Dick Van Dyke.
Let's see. Carl Reiner, Dick Van Dyke. Here's the picture. I wish it would be all of them. Dick Van Dyke, Carl Reiner, Mel Brooks, Norman Lear.
Wow.
Here's the picture. I'll try to zoom in for you here. There you go.
Look, and how old are they there?
This is just literally. This is all in the 90s. They're all in their 90s.
Golly.
Yes.
Golly. That's fantastic.
Yeah. Are you kidding me?
That's fantastic.
Like, wow. Yeah. So I saw that the other day, and then plus.
How long do you think you're gonna live, man?
Hey.
What do you think? How old are you now?
I want to get these stories of how they're living too. Like that's the things like what to and what not to eat. What are you doing at certain ages and kind of stop maybe eating so much. I'm 35 now, so yeah, I'm hoping to. Hey, I better get to 70.
35. Well, if you get to 70, you're halfway there.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So I'm thinking, I would imagine I can get to a good. My grandpa's still living in his 80s, but all my grandparents got in their 80s.
Good health.
Yep. So good. I'm thinking, I'll go for 97. I love Elway. I'll go with a 7 in there. Let's go for 97.
Okay.
We won the Super Bowl in 97.
Okay.
Let's go for
97.
Let's go.
Let's go for 97.
If I'm going to pick a number in a year.
Why not?
Or at least 84. Give me to the year I was born. 1984 to whatever that year, and you know what I mean.
Right.
But if I could get to 2084, now that would be, see what for flying around. Like, that's how I want to go out. I want to get one of those flying machines and I'm just going to let it coast. If I wreck, I wreck. Like, no, Grandpa, don't go drive. He's going to die. All right, let's get into it. Mount Rushmore.
Yes.
Of movies. Mount Rushmore, top movies of all time. It's hard. It's hard. A lot of the ones we've done. I mean, how are you going to put 4 movies up there? No, it's personal. Just like when the guys from Legacy Music Group was here and we did, top albums of all time. So it's more personal. This doesn't have to be like,
yeah, right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Casablanca and
right.
Like what was Gone with the Wind on it. And what are your top 4? Like I said, there were some close ones. I'll mention some of his top movie of all time last week is very close on the cusp. Pulp Fiction. Love the movie.
Very popular.
All the different actors that are in it. Oh my gosh, you're all over all the 3 or 4 different stories and how they all intertwine.
Yeah.
Beautiful, ridiculously awesome. Especially, like I said, all the people that are in it. Shawshank Redemption.
Yes, definitely on my list.
Love that movie. Old school. Like, probably one of the funniest movies I've ever seen. With Will Ferrell, came out in 2003. Right. All the guys, there's so many people in it. But that movie, I love some comedy. So the very close, very close. But let me get into my top 4. Most of them, 3 of them are like pretty much all in the same year, essentially. The year I was born, which is really funny. But I love movies from the 80s. That's like one of the last eras that they made great movies.
Right.
At number 4, Ghostbusters.
Ghostbusters, classic. Love
Ghostbusters.
Love Ghostbusters.
Coming in at number 3, hot at number 3. This was probably one of the first movies, or one of the top movies I for sure walked away going, oh, like, wow, like that movie, even from the get-go, the opening scene, The Dark Knight. I love the second one that Christopher Nolan did with the Joker.
Right.
Rest in peace, Heath Ledger, who by far to me has done the best crazy Joker. I mean, wow, that was, took a toll on him. But that opening scene where he kills all his guys because they're robbing that bank. That scene in the cinematography, the shot, I was just like, this movie I'm in for. I'm like, I went, here's the other thing. I went and saw it at the IMAX in Branson. This is when I was Northwest Arkansas. So I went and saw it at the IMAX. Back, this was 2005, so there weren't IMAXs all over the place. I had to go.
You had to travel.
So, and it was and this is the one in Branson's one of the old school original like the massive Big Daddy. So, I mean, you're just like, woo, you're just, wow. I'm in for a ride. So Dark Knight, like, you can love that movie, especially to this day. It's a good one. Another classic at number 2, The Goonies. All the great young actors in it. I know it's more of like a childhood kind of kid movie, but you got
I was going to say,
you got Josh Brolin in it. You got Sean Astin, and you got some people that end up being in a lot of big movies, and it's Josh Brolin. Oh, by the way, Mr. Thanos himself.
Yes.
So anyway, what were we going to say?
How many Academy Awards have been issued on any of these films? Do you know?
Oh, Dark Knight, definitely. Dark Knight was up for, and probably won, like, when they do those, like, the special effect, those type, those. Maybe Ghostbusters. I doubt Goonies, but you know who'd be Goonies? Steven Spielberg. Steven Spielberg did the Goonies.
I bet I know what your number 1 is. The Wedding Crashers. Is that your number 1 movie?
No, that was good, goofy movies in the 90s. I said 80s, all in the 80s there. Remember?
That's right. Okay.
I did like The Wedding Crashers.
Okay.
I did like Starsky and Hutch. I did like, what was the other one there in the mid 2000s that was good? Oh, Dodgeball. Dodgeball was a pretty good one. That was a good Vince Vaughn and Ben Stiller going back and forth. The one-liners, that's what I love about those.
I'm so glad you're
the one-liners in those movies. There's probably 20 in each one. You're what?
I'm so glad you're not giving out the Academy Awards.
Yeah, right.
We go out, everybody in the audience, everybody going, huh? What? Was that movie even up?
Yes, right. But my number 1, you've got to go Back to the Future.
Great movie.
So those are my...
Yeah, that's your childhood there, dude.
They're great movies. I mean, you talk about movies that are still on. I literally, to this day, will guarantee you, Goonies on... I know I do. Goonies on once a month. Dark Knight, maybe. Ghostbusters, I know I see on once a month. And Back to the Future, it's got its times here and there. But Goonies and Ghostbusters, I think it's free. I forgot what channel it is. There's a couple different ones because Avery's always putting them on, too. That's probably those two are maybe in her top 4, too, which is awesome. We share that. But we see those on, if there's nothing else on, like new, whatever. Goonies, Ghostbusters, those are going on. But at number 4, Ghostbusters, 3, Dark Knight, 2, Goonies, number 1, Back to the Future. But yeah, childhood, good movies that are, like I said, they're still on. That's like music. If you're playing a song from 1967 still, let me know how many songs from 2007 will be on the radio 50 years from now. You get my point. Right. Let me know how many movies from 1984 are still being played right now. Right, I'm naming them. So, or you know what I mean. Right. But let's get into it, Doc. Let's name your Mount Rushmore.
Okay, I took a little different approach. Obviously, I have not seen every movie, so it's kind of hard for me.
It certainly is.
But
from what you've seen under your own belt.
But looking at movies that I actually have seen, and then also looking at historically their impact on the movie making profession, for the most part. So my number 4, I have to go with The Wizard of Oz / Mary Poppins. It's a tie.
Okay, I'll let you do it.
Because those two movies, I think at the time that they were made,
we'll have Judi Dench, right? Was it who played
Judy Garland?
Judy Garland was it? Who played
who
Dorothy? I know it was Judy Garland, but I was going to say who played Mary Poppins?
Mary Poppins, Julie Andrews.
Julie Andrews, that era, I love her. She's so pretty.
And Dick Van Dyke.
He's in it for sure. But I'm just saying. But what you'd have up there, you'd have Julie. And I knew it was like, that was a Julie or a Jay and Julie and Judy next to each other. So it'd be a double head on the fourth slot.
And when you think about what they did talk about cinematography, animation, plus integrating that with real actors, real people.
Yeah. And you talk about those two faces alone and how long and what they did for the industry.
Correct. Right. So, when you think about historical films, I would have to say those two rank right up there.
I love Wizard of Oz. That was almost in my top, with the...
Plus, Wizard of Oz used to scare the crap out of me with those monkeys, man. What's up with the monkeys? The flying monkeys?
A few different times where you could have been, the witch is a little sketchy.
The witchy is scary. The
Oz
at
first when you're young, the face, you're like, what is this? Until you figure out that he's fake. But
I still have nightmares on them flying monkeys, man.
Hey, they might come flying in your window and take you out, dog.
Yeah. Number 3, totally going in a totally different direction, but a movie that had a profound impact would be The Godfather.
Oh, yes. 1 and 2, especially that's what my dad and them always talk about. That's some of their favorites. So,
yes.
Great.
Classic.
Talk about the actors in that movie.
The acting in that movie, the lighting, everything just draws you into that storyline.
Yeah.
It's a great...
I mean, the fact that, I don't know if they had, you get my point, made 3, so the fact that they kept making them shows you how good number 1 is.
Correct. My number 2 would be Shawshank Redemption.
It's classic. I love it.
For many reasons, but I think it's captivating, but I think for most people, they don't even realize there's a lot of spiritual overtones in that, underlying messages in that show. I just think it's a fantastic movie, and it's one of those movies that always, if I'm at home in the evening and I'm flipping through stations, and I don't care, man, I'm flipping through and Shawshank Redemption is on.
Yeah.
And I don't even care where it is in the movie. I stop.
You're like, that's on.
It's on.
Yeah, right. And that's on quite a bit. I see that one on probably about almost once a month.
And I've seen that show a gazillion times.
Yeah, right.
But I always...
Enough to where you know the lines. You know a lot.
Right.
Half the movie, essentially.
And I stop.
Yeah.
Right?
Great. Well, here it just shows you how good. That's why it was on my list of almost, because to this day, I'll never forget, it captivated a high school kid. Hadn't seen it. Came out, 95, 4, whatever came out, somewhere in the mid-90s, whenever that came out. 90s, I forgot what year it was, in the 90s. Here I am in 2003, 4, somewhere right around 7, just graduated, or maybe I was in high school still, so it was 11th. So it was somewhere between 2002 or 4, I remember watching it for the first time, and I was like, it just caught me from the beginning. I'm like, I was glued to it. And we're talking, I almost want to say it was on TV. It may have been on one of the movie channels. It may have been, because it was still, get my point, but I was glued. And then from then on, I was like, you get my point. I'm like you. I don't turn it on all the time, but it is and especially when it's on like TNT, it's on for 8 hours. You know what I mean? It's almost like it's like the 10 Commandments. It's on forever.
There's another one that would have been a good one to have on.
I love the 10. That's old school. Love watching 10. We used to watch that once a year when it would come on. My dad would turn that on, and we'd be watching that.
That's a great.
Yeah, Shawshank. I never forget that. That's why it's on my list. It's
there's something when we talk about the spiritual overtones. Bondage. Being in bondage. And, we're saved through the waters of baptism, and when he crawls through that.
Sewage, exactly, right.
And he comes out the end in water, clean water, and he's like, and he stands there, saved.
Yeah, he's
saved.
Like, right. Man. Beautiful.
It's fantastic,
so
right?
What's taking number 1?
Number 1, along those same lines, profound movie, Mel Gibson's The Passion of the Christ.
Oh, there you go. And you actually enjoyed it. Because some people do have. I liked it. I went and saw it in theaters. Some people are like, you get my point. They have their twist on it. Or they don't like it because Mel Gibson or whatever.
Well, yeah. Number 1, it's a true story.
Well, yeah. I know. Well, yeah. At least he kept it that. At least Mel didn't go off the deep end and had a few bottles and I'm going to do Once Upon a Time. Jesus,
Yeah. No, I think it's a profound movie. I think everybody, if it hits you in the gut, it should.
Oh, I cried. Well, me crying. Are you kidding?
Should
be looking at someone else to see if they cried. John. Yeah, we know this guy's gonna cry. Okay, we don't want to demo him, but yeah, exactly. It was a great movie. I never forget when I saw it with my girlfriend at the time, and when I was in high school.
Yeah.
Yep, definitely a good movie.
Yeah.
Definitely a good movie. I guess I didn't know if I'm glad.
I watch that every Good Friday, every Easter.
And I think it's the same time. 10 Commandments, is that on Easter Sunday? I want to say
10 Commandments. Yeah,
they play that once a year. I'm saying, what I mean. That was ours. When I remember as a kid, we always would watch that. That was kind of obviously that Passion of Christ didn't come out until 2003. But you get my point. Yeah, that was like ours every year. I never forget when it was on, and that always kind of didn't.
And as gruesome as the Passion of the Christ is, it pales in the comparison of the reality.
Oh yeah.
Of what really happened.
Oh yeah. And then you wanted that it was rated R too, wasn't it?
Yeah, but
I'm just saying. Point being, you talk about other rated R movies like John Wick, which had pretty good movies, honestly. John Wick's done, Keanu Reeves. We get my point. Go look at that, and then go watch Passion of the Christ, and go exactly, and then go. You know what would happen probably in real life? They could have made this way worse, and y'all really would have been talking about.
Yeah,
it.
You really would have been sick.
Yeah, exactly. Literal, right? Let's get into it since we kind of talked about some of them. Our favorite actors, actresses of all time.
Oh man. Jimmy Stewart.
Oh, wow. There you go. Love it.
John Wayne.
Yeah. Oh, that's the Duke. That was my grandpa's. He had to have I think he did have every John Wayne movie ever.
Katharine Hepburn.
Oh, beautiful. She was like, I had a crush on her like when I was a kid, and I'm like, I'd see black and white photos. I'm like, man, she is smoking.
Yeah, so yeah, I'm old school. I like the right. I guess I just am drawn to, again, I think the movie scenes then.
Oh yeah.
The movies themselves, the actors.
Marlon Brando.
Yes, absolutely, right? So, I would have to say, man, I love Jimmy Stewart, love everything. Talk about another movie that could have been on the Mount Rushmore is the Christmas
Miracle.
Wonderful
Life.
It's Wonderful Life.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Which is funny. I almost was thinking about putting either Christmas Vacation or Vacation in there. I was like, nah, if anything, they can that'd make the cusp. But that's kind of like, you get my point. Those are the same way. You get my point. That's one of those things where you could almost put, honestly, I actually could put It's a Wonderful Life in that for a real argument.
Right.
Being it's the best, or pretty much worldwide seemed as the best Christmas movie ever made.
Yeah.
So, and that was however long, like 100 years ago. You know what I mean? Now almost.
Right.
75, whatever. It's just crazy to think that's still. No one's outdone that. No one's made a better. They made pretty good ones along the way, but nothing's been better than that story.
Yeah, right.
Oh, Clarence.
Yep.
Mine are more what I grew up with. I'm not big into either one of their political sides, but Tom Hanks is on. I love great actor. Everything he does usually. I mean, from Big, when I remember the first movies I remember seeing him in.
Right.
To you get my point. Denzel Washington, love the man. Attitude. I mean, he can play different roles. Very actor.
Talented.
Yes. Jim Carrey. He's one of my favorite comedians. Loved him. Obviously, most of his roles are goofy, but he's done all kinds of different roles. He's played kind of some deeper. Yep. Love Jim Carrey. Love De Niro. Eddie Murphy. Love him and Bill Murray. Bill Murray. Watched a movie last night. What?
My favorite Bill Murray movie. What about Bob? Man?
What about that's a great one. That was actually on like 2 weeks ago.
I love that show.
Oh my god, it's so funny. I put it on for just a second when they just got to their summer home or whatever. Oh, that's a great one.
Oh my gosh.
But Bill Murray, he was just in, which he had the small cameo in it. It's called Zombieland. It came out like 2009. Has Woody Harrelson and a few younger actors, but I know you know who Woody is. So they finally made the second one for whatever reason, almost like a decade later. That came out last year, and so we rented it, watched it last night. Got it, which I still use Redbox. I'm like, hey, $2 out. It's so funny. I'm still old school. Love a rental.
I didn't even know that was still around.
I know, right? Which is crazy.
Yeah.
Which I love it. Hey, $2, I'll do it for a night. I mean, anyway. Regardless, that's how we watch our movies still, which is, we're old school. We'll go rent one instead of a streaming service or something, because streaming services cost you money to watch. They do
cost you money.
Regardless, so we watched that. Well, in the first one, he made a cameo at the very end. You're not expecting anything of it. Well, they show up at this house. It's zombie time. It's Zombieland. Like, the apocalypse, whatever happened. So it's Woody Harrelson and the three other, which is cool. Here's the other cool thing. Just so they get to know each other, for whatever reason, they use where they're from in Zombieland. So essentially, instead of calling you Bob or Dr. or whatever, or me Josh, I would be literally Arkansas or Little Rock. And in this movie, one of the girls, she's the youngest one in it, she's from Little Rock. And I'm like, that's so funny. So there's Little Rock, hilarious. Tallahassee. God, where's the one from Ohio? That or sometimes they'll say
Kalamazoo.
Yeah, that would be all right. But anyway, so they're all at the house. They're all out west on the West Coast, and they find there's Bill Murray. They're all in love. The big Bill Murray fans. They're all walking around. Well, they're getting comfortable in the house, because they're gonna make their house for the time being. Hey, we're safe here. It's got a safe room. Toward the end of the movie. Well, all of a sudden, they're in the movie room and they're watching them. I forgot which one, but it might be Ghostbusters. They're watching a Bill Murray movie in his, we spoke of, his theater at his house. And all of a sudden, here comes Bill Murray. He was walking down. Of course, the way they make it in the movie point being, he's drawn himself and make-upped himself to look like a zombie. So he's coming down all slow, and especially the way they're filming it, he looks like a zombie, like he's coming down slow, but he's just walking down. The guy freaks out. I forgot. It's not Woody. It's the younger. There's 2 guys and 2 girls. It's a younger guy. Freaks out, turns around. It's like, no, Bill, no. Shoots him. Bill's really, and then he's dying. And of course, he's talking. They're like, what? Point being, Bill Murray, he wasn't a zombie. He's like, man, your makeup. He's like, he's in. I went, made it. It's hilarious as can be. He's like, man, I whatever, and I drew it on. And so they're all like, I can't believe you killed Bill Murray after he finally dies. And the second one, halfway through the movie, we're watching it last night. They're like, yeah, I almost murdered you. And they're like, it sounds like murdered, right? And I thought that's what they said. And they're like, what'd you just say? And they're like, murried. That's what happens. Like when you think you're a zombie,
right.
When you kill a human, when you think that's a zombie, that's when you murray someone. That's murried.
Right.
And they're all like, oh no, the word guy. Like, yeah, didn't y'all hear about Bill? Then they make a big fun of it.
Oh wow.
So at the end of the movie, at the very end of the movie, of course, here come as those extra scenes they do. Who is it? It's Bill Murray. And it's like the day of the day of the apocalypse, and it's him doing. That when they do those interviews for his movies, he's doing, because it's like his biggest make fun of fluff ever. He did Garfield, like an animated movie in the '90s. Everyone makes fun of it, like really, and like anyone. He's like, he was those guys that have done like Samuel L. Jackson's like, hey, you want me to do it? You're gonna pay? Hey, I'll do it. Sure, I love acting. You know what I mean? You're gonna pay me. I'll try to make it better. So anyway, he's doing Garfield. He's doing promos for Garfield 3 back in this was supposed to be 2009 or whenever the breakout was. Different people are interviewing him. And anyway, the Al Roker's the famous person that they had. That's where the outbreak starts. Al Roker's like starts choking, and Bill's like, "Man, you all right, man? And, Al, you okay?" And he's trying to pat him on the back, and then he pukes up all the stuff. You can tell he's about to become a zombie. But now Bill Murray turns in. Now I'm like, of course, Bill Murray's the killer. Picks up a chair, and he's just hammering zombies left. Because now he walks out of the room, and everyone's a zombie, and he's just. It was hilarious. I'm not describing it, but point being, it was the funniest part of the movie. You get my point. The zombie, that was a pretty good movie. That's all right. Well, Woody Harrelson had some funny parts. I was crying watching. He was saying all these like funny lines and stuff and whacking these people. But yeah, I'm like, I love Bill Murray. Point being, I love Bill Murray. He's hilarious. It's now some women. Jessica Lange. Talk about a woman who's been acting for forever. I love Jessica Lange. Yes. Beautiful woman herself. Back to kind of Seinfeld, but she's won awards since then. But I love Julia Louis-Dreyfus. She's a very funny woman. Judi Dench, speaking of earlier, I've loved her. A lot of all Judy Garland, all the Jays. Julie Andrews. So there's a lot of the Jays. I like some Jays, the old Jay ladies. Yeah. Those are all good actors. They're pretty, still pretty. And one of the newer ones, she played Captain Marvel. She actually won Academy an Oscar a few years ago. Brie Larson. She plays Captain Marvel in the Avengers. Beautiful woman, great actress. She does all those different roles from Captain Marvel to like those small budget, like what movie's that? So love that. Hey, we covered some movies today.
Well, hey, an honorable mention I forgot to mention on my movie list, which are a couple of my favorite actors.
Yeah.
I love this series. Grumpy Old Men.
Oh, Grumpy Old Men. Walter Matthau. Yes.
Jack Lemmon. Come on, man.
And here's what I'd love to do.
1 and 2.
Here's what I'd love to do, because I'm really wanting to get into movies, and it's so funny you mentioned that. Not getting into movies, but I really want to write one. And all the remakes they're doing these days. How funny would it be if we did, not how funny, but do a remake of Grumpy Old Men and get... You gotta get the right duo, but like Will Ferrell and John C. Reilly, they've been both, but a duo that would just, but maybe give it like 5. You got to get them older. Yeah. But you've got it. That's one of those movies too. You've got to give it the right duo, because you're talking those two studs.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Yeah. But that would be a good movie to redo, because it is such a classic old
Regis
movie.
Philbin, not Regis. Who's the original Penguin man on Batman?
Oh, Joe. No. I love him to death. He's on It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Oh my gosh!
Come on, what's his name?
Now you got Joe Pesci in my head. Oh my gosh, what is his name? Everyone's yelling right now at us at the podcast.
Come on, man. Burgess Meredith.
Oh,
Meredith. That's right, Burgess Meredith.
No, Danny DeVito.
No, that's not.
But that's the Penguin in the Batman.
I'm talking about the original, the show.
I thought you meant the movie. From the 90s.
The Rockies coach.
Exactly, yes.
Burgess Meredith.
That's who it is, right? Yeah. I thought you meant from...
So for you to get somebody to fill in and do a Walter Matthau, Jack Lemmon, and a Burgess Meredith.
Yeah, you'd have to have, they're probably Robert De Niro, and maybe you'd have to have 2 old school studs that just carry the weight.
That's gonna be tough.
Right? But I thought that would be a good one to remake.
You got the Anne Margaret.
Oh, right, exactly. The women's side.
Sophia Loren.
Yeah. It's a good movie. Come on. It's a good movie. It's a good movie. Hey, I'm glad we covered a little movie topic. Let's do a quick stud. We got to do a little music, stud and dud segment. A little bit of rap, I know, but Eminem, which I've always liked him, just his writing. I know sometimes, because he keeps, at least if anything, he's always trying to tell a story. He's not just rapping about. Old school
rap.
Yeah. He's not rap well. Regardless, he's not talking about Mercedes-Benz and riding 22s and going out to the club and a lot of the stuff you hear nowadays, but not just 10th straight #1 album, which is ridiculous. It is a record. No one's had 10 straight #1 albums to hit the charts. 10th in the 10 club. So there's only a select few that have 10 #1 albums. Of course, leading the pack, the Beatles with 19. Ridiculous. And one that surprised me, Jay-Z, another rapper from old school, has 14. I didn't know he had released that many, and that he had that many #1 albums.
Would have never thought.
Another one that kind of surprised me.
Would have never thunk it, man.
Bruce Springsteen has 11.
Well, 10 of those are Die Hard movies, right? I'm just...
Not one that doesn't surprise me.
Wait a minute. Bruce Willis?
Yeah, but I said I was like, what? I said Bruce Springsteen.
Wait a minute, you just threw me off, man.
I know, Bruce Springsteen. He has 11. Yeah. You're like, Bruce Willis?
I'm going Bruce Willis.
He did have a music career, though, didn't he? I think like in the late 80s, early 90s it was. But Bruce
threw me
Springsteen,
off, man.
he was like, what?
Bruce
Die
Willis,
Hard
Die Hard.
had 11 number one music albums? Bruce Springsteen.
Oh, man, it's getting late.
Born in the USA.
Okay, Bruce Springsteen. Okay, now I'm with you. We're back to music.
There we
okay.
go. Yeah, right.
You got me all...
Barbara Streisand has 11.
Oh, my
And the
gosh.
king, Elvis Presley, has 10.
Elvis, come on.
Yeah, baby. So good for Eminem. That's great. Not good. That's awesome. Obviously good to have the longevity, especially in the world we live in now. But yeah, Bruce Willis. No. The Springer. The Springsteen. Until next week, what to watch this week in the Oscars?
Yeah.
Give that a watch if you're not interested. The sporting event, which I will be watching on Saturday night, UFC 247. My man John Bones Jones is back in action. He's the light heavyweight, or I forgot what. I think that's what division he's in. He's super stud. Better what? Yeah, any of those guys. I mean, any of the girls. I mean, I'm not getting in the ring with those people.
Right.
Beat us down. I'd be running and be like, I do the.
Yeah.
I hit my own self. I do the old school wrestling trick. Where, right. You ain't getting me. I'm hitting myself. I'm out. I'm gonna count my own self out. On next week's show, well, it's Valentine's Day. Literally a week from today, Doc. You ready for that? A week from today is V-Day.
I'm getting ready.
So we definitely have to talk well, I'm letting you know, most memorable Valentine's Day moments ever. Your most memorable. We've got a few. I've got a couple already on the top of my head that I was like, oh, I got those for sure. And then we've got to our most memorable love moment ever. One that top. I already know which one's mine. Well, it may not have to be the love moment, but just with I'm sure it's going to be with obviously your wife. But you got my point. Let's bring up some old school funny movie because I've got some old school girlfriend. As in your old school like Valentine's Day moments, like it happened on Valentine's Day. Maybe you had some stud moments. Maybe you had some dud moments. I've got a couple. Got kind of one of each. Then I've got the most memorable love moment of all time. I've got that one locked down. You can kind of think about it. You should maybe know what it was. Maybe it was
easy.
Yeah, okay.
It's all easy.
All right, definitely got to. And I was going to do it this week, but I didn't realize the Oscars were this week, so that's why we did all-time movies. But next week, in honor of still the Oscars and movies, we've got to do our Mount Rushmore of all-time sports movies, which will also be rather tough. So, yeah, speaking of Brian's song,
I was just going to say, you just mentioned one.
Yeah, so we'll do that next week, which I want to do that this week. I was like, oh, the Oscars are Sunday. We got to do that next week then. So we'll do our Mount Rushmore of sports movies. And, of course, we'll try to get our guest in. But until then, don't forget, subscribe to us on iTunes, iHeartRadio, Spotify, SoundCloud to hear all the episodes, watch it, view it, and, of course, subscribe on YouTube. And, of course, Instagram, Twitter, I should say, Facebook, the beautiful website, studandud.com. I lead everyone there, and everyone, even like I said, I was in chat earlier. Anyway, what was there? It was a couple days ago, and they're starting a blog. And so one day I was about to come to the podcast. Actually, it had to be because I mentioned it in chat to Deckmar, and he was like, "Yep, I love hey, yeah, give that a listen." Because he's the one talking the whole time, so he's the one talking. Everyone's chatting, and I'm like, "Oh," so he gave us, they always gives me love on there, or wearing my T-shirts. Yeah, go give Stud and Dud a shout, blah blah blah. So one of the guys was like, "Man, I know then you can chat, you can message someone, DM them." And so I was like, "Man, I don't get more information on it." He's like, "Hey man, follow my blog." He's like, not nearly as up to date and as cool or advanced as your website. I'm like, oh, Doc would love this. I wanted to take a screenshot. I wanted to take a picture and send it to you.
Nice,
but yeah, so you got some props on the website.
Very nice.
Oh, well, yeah, we try. We try.
Nice.
So yeah, website got some love there.
Good.
So I always put that because it just leads them to all the outlets. So I always put that, and just because all they have to do is click on it, boom, in a different browser. So they probably are like, dang, wow, got a website. They're kind of legit. I'm like, yeah, go check out the guests. We're kind of legit. I promise. Thank you all for listening. Once again, thank you, literally, Nick Leckie for joining us last week.
That was awesome.
That Super Bowl.
Awesome.
Then the Super Bowl. Super Bowl champ to this. That was just...
It was tremendous.
It was a great show. And then he does a podcast. So it was
he's awesome at it.
We got to get him back on for sure.
We'll get him back
Definitely have to get him back on. Until next time, though, I'm Josh Smith.
Bob Lawrence.
Peace.